Doug Atkins once won a martini drinking contest at training camp in Rensselaer when he drank 21 martinis, and he won by knockout when Fred Williams passed out and collapsed after having his 20th martini.
I do believe that I have a picture of what he looked like that night at my house. I'm going to have to show that to you because it is, I think he was on the floor with, I'm not quite sure who the woman was, but it's pretty funny. It's a great one, and you can tell he was pretty bummed at that point.
Well, you know, Doug told me about one night with Abe Gibron. Oh, Rick, one night with Abe Gibron. Abe always looked upon Doug as being kind of a son, sort of like a confidant. I mean, Doug was the one guy that Abe Gibron trusted. And he walked in one night, and Doug, Abe as usual, was baffled by where the football team was going. So they started drinking wild turkey again. And they both wind up loaded. And the next day, in 95-degree heat in Rensselaer, you know, Doug is all but collapsing. And Abe has the audacity to walk over and say to Doug, "See that? That'll teach you to drink all night."
Sounds like it. Thank goodness Doug stopped drinking after the 14 martinis. I think we finished him off with the 14 martinis that night. I do believe that was for sure the very last night he ever drank. And I couldn't even get him to drink a beer.
But it was a great night for the sofa. And also, it was the legendary night that Dana Buffone, young Dana Buffone, legendary runway model, who has worked Tokyo, Paris, Munich, New York, you name it, she's done it, fired the bartender.
I did fire the bartender. He deservedly needed to be fired. And the main reason is because I felt, even in those days, which I don't even know that, you know, it was known that you could die from drinking that much alcohol, right? Not that he hadn't probably had enough alcohol poisoning way before I ever met him, but I felt that he should not have been served that many drinks. And so I was so angry that I called John Ponderelli. I called him up and I'm like, "Man, you're out. You're fired. You are no longer allowed to serve." And he's like, but he's my boss. You know, I had to serve him that many drinks. And I'm like, you know what? You could have killed him. And just because he's your boss doesn't mean that that's okay. And so I told him he had to go.
I have an idea you probably used a word that began with B to describe Dana Buffone.
Like?
Oh, without question, yeah. Yeah, but Doug called up John Ponderelli the following morning and said, "Listen, don't worry, your job is safe. Dana's just ticked up it because I got too loaded."
Well, and I'm sure that John Ponderelli, like we're talking about him now as if he's here, John probably, you know, never did that again after I got done with him.
How would you want people to remember that picture right there? That's the very essence of Doug Buffone. It's intensity, it's tenaciousness, it's remarkable focus, it's the energy of a football game. You never had the opportunity to see this remarkable man play a live football game, but you've heard so many stories, you've heard so many people rave about the football qualities of Doug. How would you want people to remember Doug as a football player, Dana?
Doug was all or nothing. It was, if he was in on something, he was in completely. Like there was, you know, even, you know, I can relate it to our marriage. When he decided that, you know, we were going to be married, he literally, he was completely in and embraced our marriage, embraced our family, embraced all of our, you know, the entire family, you know, all of us together. And he also, you know, when he would say go on a health kick or whatever, he would completely go on a health kick. But when he'd go off the health kick, he would completely go off the health kick. You know, he was either all or nothing with everything he ever did.
I remember shortly before you got married, this would have been about 1983 or 84, as a member of the East Bank Club. I used to jog every morning, and Doug, at that time he's 3-4 years removed from football. But, you know, Doug was a big fan of boxing. And there used to be a couple of heavy bags up on the third floor of the East Bank Club by the jogging club. And Doug would go up and literally pound the bag for 45 minutes. And the sweat would drip off here, but every time he threw a punch, the beads of sweat would just go flying off his hair and off his skull. And I finally walked up to him one day and said, what the hell are you mad about the bag? What did the bag ever do to you, for God's sakes? It beat the living crap out of the poor bag. Why?
I think maybe he was aggravated with me. I don't know. Maybe he just like thought about and put my picture up on the thing and then was like, well, I'm just going to get my aggression out that way because he knew if he hit me, he was going to be dead meat because I'd kick his butt.
Well, that goes back to a great story, which Doug relates in the book. At the time that you two meet, and Doug, Doug goes to your father and asks for your hand in marriage. You're over in Japan on a modeling assignment. He calls and says, well, what do you think? And it's kind of interesting. One of Doug Buffone's friends says to Doug, you don't want to marry this girl. She only wants you for her money. And the fact of the matter is, Doug said to the guy, what the hell are you talking about? She makes more dough in a week than I make.
We had, things were rough there for a little while. We managed to survive it all. But I did well when I was.
But this was almost, Dana, in its own way, it was almost a made for Hollywood. It was a storybook romance. This handsome, rugged football player from Yatesboro, Pennsylvania, this country girl from Goose Creek, Carolina, who becomes a global runway model. Hollywood should have bought the rights to a story.
Well, I don't know if it's that romantic, but we definitely met on a blind date. It wasn't even our blind date. We were on someone else's blind date, funny enough. And we had a great time. I remember we went to Jukebox Saturday Night down on Lincoln Avenue, which was so much fun. But they all got drunk, of course, and I was 20, so I wasn't even legal age to drink, actually. And so I was the only sober one there to get everyone home safely, and so we started dating shortly after that.
Were you kind of overwhelmed when you got the show? Now, mind you, you've been in the fast lane. You're a runway model who's working around the country, but when you get to Chicago and you're around Doug and this collection of, for want of a better word, characters, because they were and remain to this day characters. Were you like, if I wound up in the Brookfield Zoo?
No, actually, when I met Doug, I didn't know who Doug was because I was from South Carolina, and somebody on the blind date, I remember they go, well, is that, that's Doug Buffone. I go, so what, And they said, well, he played with the Chicago Bears, and I go, and who are they? So that's kind of what my introduction. I think that's the reason that he liked me is because I didn't like the fact that it didn't matter to me. I wasn't into the whole football scene anyway. So we did go on a blind. I think my very first date, Doug Jr., you don't like this story. I'm sure you've probably heard it before, but on our first date that we went on, he took me. They were the Italian Hall of Fame. Off of the Carlisle, at the Carlisle?
Yes.
So he takes me on the
because
date.
Because I MC the event.
Okay, so he takes me on the date there, and we're walking around, and it's the cocktail night, and we walk around, and then his jersey's in a thing, and and they've got all kinds of little thing mentions about him. And I remember walking out of there, and I go, how much did you pay those guys to put your name on that jersey? I said, just to try to impress me. So that was one thing that was really funny. But then the next night he calls me up. This is a really good one. You guys are going to love this one. So my husband calls me up and he says to me, he goes, hey, what are you doing tonight? And I go,
avoiding you.
Yeah.
Except you thought, be honest, you thought he was hotter than hell.
I thought he was very handsome. I did. That's kind of what, the whole football thing I could care less about, but he was a good looking guy. And he was awfully, I don't know, I always loved him. Anyway, so the next night he calls me up and he asks me to go out again. He goes, what are you doing tonight? And I go, well, I don't know why. And he goes, well, my date canceled on me. I go, wait a minute, back up.
What a romantic.
Yeah, so no, that wasn't it. It was, wait a minute, back up. You mean you invited me to the cocktail reception and you invited someone else to the dinner? Like I wasn't good enough to go to the dinner? So then the worst thing is, he says to me, well, I asked her way before I ever met you, and I I go, well, okay. And I go, well, who is it? And he goes, it's my ex-wife. I go, so you're still dating your ex-wife? And he goes, well, you know, we kind of dated, we've still kind of been dating. I go, that's just great. I go, no, you know, as a matter of fact, I do have a date tonight. I'm so sorry. So I gave him my girlfriend's number and I told him to call her. And I knew she wasn't going to be home. So he went alone, and because he deservedly should have gone alone.
You know, Dana, for a moment, we have these wonderful banners here, which we're going to present to the Chicago Bears. And we would love it, for example, if you folks right here would be kind enough to sign this banner in tribute